Accrington Stanley Football Club are a club based in Accrington, north of Manchester. They currently play in League One of English football, the third tier, at the Crown Ground or Wham Stadium, which holds 5,450 people, 3,100 of which are seated. The badge of Accrington is essentially the coat of arms of Accrington Town, surrounded by a banner with the words Accrington Stanley Football Club. Within the coat of arms on the shield there is a shuttle with cylinders and a calico, which all represent the local cotton spinning industry in Accrington. The stag represents the Hargreaves family, who were closely connected to the cotton industry, with the lion representing the ancient family of de Lacy, who owned Accrington by grant of Henry VII. The town of Accrington has actually had 3 clubs, not just the one we have today. The initial club, Accrington FC, was actually a founding member of the Football League and finished 7th in the first ever Football League season. However, they'd suffer financial problems and dissolve in 1896. In 1891, we get the first of 2 versions of Accrington Stanley. Initially, they were named Villa Stanley, the name Stanley coming from where the club was initially based on Stanley Street. But after the demise of the initial Accrington club, they then took on the name Accrington as well. This club would play at Peel Park and would be a member of the Football League from 1921 to 1962, but had to withdraw from the league due to money problems and would be dissolved a couple years later in 1966. The final iteration of the club we know today was reborn in 1968. They'd moved to the Crown Ground and would slowly work their way up from the local Lancashire leagues all the way to League One today. The most notable honour the club has achieved would probably be the League Two title they won in 2018, with their furthest progress in the FA Cup being the 4th round. The club's home colours have been either all red with a white trim, or a red shirt with white shorts and red socks, which lends itself to one of the nicknames the club has, the Old Reds. This name is somewhat ironic perhaps because of course this version of Accrington Stanley from the late 1960s is not that old at all, but this name was borrowed from the older version of the club. Other uninspiring nicknames for the club include Stanley and Aki. The club's biggest rivals are considered local teams of a similar size, such as Morecambe, Rochdale and the now defunct Bury, with other teams like Burnley and Blackburn following close behind. The club is probably most famous though for a milk advertisement in the 1980s, in which a young boy is told by Ian Rush if he drinks milk he might one day be good enough to play for Accrington Stanley. This is then followed by the famous lines.
Accrington Stanley! Who are they? Exactly.
The advert was a huge success, and even to this day, whenever the club is brought up, it is likely that someone will repeat the advert's famous words. And that is the quick story of Accrington Stanley Football Club. Next up will be AFC Bournemouth.